All right, it's 9 o'clock. It's bright and early. I'm impressed with all the people with bright, shiny faces this morning. Thank you all for coming. Coming to our and actually we're going to be moving fairly soon, so we'll keep you updated as to moving to the new commission chambers, and obviously it's a new time, so thank you very much for coming. And with that, we will begin our agenda. Agenda item number 1 is to approve the minutes of the September 19th, 2018 meeting. Do we have any corrections or comments? Otherwise, I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 2A, application to issue a Class I alcoholic beverage license to HRP Fargo LLC, doing business as The Tavern Grill, to be located at 3233 45th Street South. Steve.
So this is kind of an interesting thing. When they first came to town, they got an FA license, which they transferred then to their new building. They started out serving in the spa that's right next door to the tavern. And so they want to continue serving in the spa, and so now this I license is for back in the spa. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but they're essentially going to have 2 licenses right next door to each other. One's an FA and one's an I.
And Chief, I don't know if you have any comments about, have we had, so they have an existing license. I don't know if we've had any issues with them in the past?
No issues. As far as calls for service, there weren't concerns, and all the applicants, their criminal history and credit histories were clean, so we signed off on it.
And they also have, obviously, other restaurant locations in the Minneapolis area.
Correct.
And so they don't have any issues there either, so.
Nope.
Any other questions? Grant, do you have any comments or questions?
No, I believe their new tavern food is supposed to be open next couple weeks, so we're good with them.
Yep.
And with that, I don't know if there's any other comments or questions. Otherwise, I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And number 2B, application to transfer a Class B Limited from Lake Mode Liquors, doing business as Lake Mode Liquors, to Hornbachers Incorporated, doing business as Hornbachers Wine and Spirits, to be located at 4265 45th Street South, Suite 121. Steve.
So this is a transfer of an existing business. The owner of Lake Mode desires to sell to Hornbachers. It's a B limited license. In our ordinance, you can only have one B limited license, and so the next item, these two kind of go hand in hand. Previously, we had granted Hornbachers a B limited license. They were still trying to work out moving different businesses around so that they would have a place at Village West. So they want to forfeit that license, so that won't become available to anybody that might be interested, and then do this transfer with Lake Mode. And so, other than putting their own stamp on things, things would just continue. It's just a transfer of an existing business.
Do we have any comments on that, Chief? I don't know if there's any, really there isn't a background check on that because, or is,
Yeah, we did
Okay.
We do background, criminal history and credit history. No areas of concern, no calls for service concern.
okay, any other comments or questions? Otherwise, we'll accept a motion.
I'd move to approve the transfer.
I'll second.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And C, that goes along with this, acknowledge forfeiture of Class B limited license issued to Hornbachers Incorporated, doing business as Hornbachers Wine and Spirits, located at Village West Shopping Center.
Like I said, they can only have one license, and so they're willing to give up their rights towards that Village West license, and then so that they can move forward with the Lake Mode. So this is more of like a receive and file. I guess I would move to receive and file.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I do have a couple other things that.
And if anybody in the audience has a comment or question, please come up to the podium, but we'll let Steve go first.
So we did meet with the group of citizens that were interested in this point of last drink. And we had a initial discussion, I guess, with them about, some of the things that their research had done. And Deputy Chief Renner, shows how long I've been around, he was a sergeant when I started, was at the meeting with me along with Chris Helmut. Was he lieutenant?
He's a lieutenant for the downtown.
The downtown beat. And so we had a really good meeting, a lot of good discussion. At this point, I think the city wants to do a little bit more research and kind of see, and so I anticipate more meetings going forward. The second thing I wanted to just discuss is that the DCP, that being able to consume in public, that has an expiration date at the end of the year. And so I don't know what kind of data or what kind of reports this board is looking for, if they're willing to consider extending that or do something like that.
Can I add a couple comments?
Yes,
So
sir.
the other thing I'd like is for the other establishments downtown that didn't participate, I'd like to hear what their comments are.
Okay.
Excuse me, just to hear if there are some things that, if they would be interested in having it continue or not, or if there are some changes that they would like to see. There aren't that many here this morning, but if we could pursue that, just.
Yep, I'll reach out to them.
But I will say, from the statistics that I saw, there was actually a reduction in police incidents when we had that going on. And so I'd like to actually know what the numbers were so we can see that. And also, maybe you can contact the DCP and find out what are some of the things that they learned and to improve it and things like that. Because I think it was a successful thing, but we'd actually like to see the numbers and
Okay.
if that makes sense.
So we'll put together a presentation for next meeting.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay,
great.
okay.
I
And
don't
then
know
just,
if any of the other members are looking at, would like to see any other topics covered or anything like that. But I would like to hear from the downtown people that didn't participate, that what would we change to have them participate, or what would they like to see? I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yep.
that's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay.
I'll
thanks.
reach out to them. Then, final comment, we've started our annual liquor audit, so I don't know, if you probably won't hear anything back, but in case you do, just want to make you aware.
And I guess one of the topics and I apologize, I wasn't at the meeting, but the governor had a meeting at the same time, and when the governor says you got to be there, then you got to be there. So I apologize, but we had both intended on being there, and I wasn't able to make it, so I apologize. But the one thing I think we could start doing right now is just to see, just maybe even twice a year, just to see what are the police calls, are we having certain license holders having more issues, and mostly to be proactive, to say, hey, there's some things that we can do as a city to help them, if that makes sense, in the future. And Chief, I don't know, we kind of talked about this informally, but something along that line might not be a bad idea.
And we do track calls for service data to establishments, or calls for service that are associated with establishments. And beyond that, we also have liquor incident forms where we fill out a form for issues that happen at liquor establishments, whether it's over-serving or minors being in liquor establishments, those type of things, and we track that data too. And if I have an issue with a liquor establishment where I'm seeing calls for service spike or seem to be inappropriate, I do talk about that here. I've talked about different establishments before, brought that before the board.
So, and this might be a good time when we're doing the reviews anyway, to just kind of combine these all. And like I said, I don't think we need to do it all the time, but just to see what are the top things, and there might be things as a city that we can do to help reduce that. And the one thing I will say, so the downtown now is our entertainment district, and when you go around there now, there's way more foot traffic, there's pedestrians, and it's a mix of people. And what I believe is that has a positive impact on public safety, because the more people you have out on the street, it's a compound effect. You have more eyes, more activity. I don't know if you agree with that, but I work downtown, and you can just see it's much different.
You know, in some aspects, I agree with you, Commissioner. I think having a mixed crowd, different ages. I think that helps with public safety. You know, during those busier times such as bar closing, we tend to saturate those areas too with police officers, whether it's foot patrols, bike patrols, and people in squad cars. And we also have our downtown camera system where we're able to go back and look at activity and see what the issues were too.
Anything else to add?
Just appreciate everybody's flexibility in having this meeting changed from our normal time. There's was it a general or?
There's a diversion authority meeting, so there's all kinds of politicians. You want to stay clear of this area if at all possible at our usual meeting time. And I will say, I don't know for sure when we're going to move, but the new place is fantastic, and so it will be a great improvement, and so we're all looking forward to it. I will say I don't know if anybody knows this, but the reason that we can't move in is because all the construction has to be complete before they move the electronic stuff in. So I thought that's what they're waiting for. I thought that was kind of interesting. So that's your interesting tidbit for this morning. Anything else, Steve?
I'm done.
Very good. Thank you, everybody, for coming. If anybody wants to make a comment, you're welcome to anytime. And if you have any questions, come on up and talk. We'd love to have you. And thanks for all for coming, and have a good day.